Daylight come going to a few radio stations in the morning. He has a new show that he's filming, so I was a part of the show yesterday. So
you know, if we close our eyes, we hear you, Dad.
Hello, good to be here.
Exactly.
Always a pleasure, Leslie. Good to see you again.
What's going on, YouTube? This is As Seen by Dave, coming to you from Carpinteria, California. About maybe a half hour, 20-30 minutes above Ventura, California. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Alan Thicke. Who was Alan Thicke? Alan Thicke was an actor, author, songwriter. Some of you might not know about him writing songs. I didn't know up until recently that he wrote some of the most popular theme songs. Now we'll get into that. Alan Thicke was a Canadian, raised about 300 miles north of Toronto, Canada. As you can hear, there's some horses behind me, and they're saying, hey. Yes, those are crickets you just heard. Now, Alan Thicke, like I said, was born about 300 miles north of Toronto, Canada. He grew up being a huge Maple Leafs fan. At the age of 28, he became a game show host in Canada. He didn't gain major success until he came to the States. So he moved south, came to the US. He hosted a few different shows. A night show called In the Thick of the Night. I believe that was his Tonight Show. Now, that wasn't, that went on for a season or two. Not super successful. He had a couple other little shows. He didn't gain major success until he became Dr. Jason Seaver on Growing Pains in 1985.
Don't waste another minute on your crying. We're nowhere near the
The show ran from 1985 to 1992. Growing Pains was a sitcom about a family facing major, everyday and major obstacles in life. It was about a husband and wife, Alan Thicke playing the father and husband, and their 3 kids. Oldest kid was Kirk Cameron, who gained pretty good success in the 80s, was on all the Teeny Bopper magazine covers, Tiger Beat, all those other ones that I can't think of at the moment. Now, Alan Thicke, as I mentioned, was also a songwriter. He wrote the theme songs to Different Strokes, Facts of Life, and also the jingle for the Wheel of Fortune.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of me.
There's a place you gotta go for learning all you ought to know about the facts of life. The facts of life.
When your books are what you're there about, but looks are what you care about.
The time is right to learn the facts of life. When the world...
Alan Thicke was married 3 times. His first wife, who was a singer and actress, she's best known for being on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. He had 2 sons with his first wife, an older son named Brian Thicke, and a second son named Robin Thicke. Now, Robin Thicke might sound familiar to some of you. He is a singer, songwriter, and producer. He's also one of the celebrity judges on the Masked Singer celebrity singing show. Alan Thicke had a 3rd son with his second wife named Carter Thicke. Alan Thicke was also an author. He wrote a few books on fatherhood, He starred in lots of movies towards the end of his life for the Hallmark type movies that you'll see on Hallmark, straight to television type movies. But he starred in lots of TV shows, movies, but nothing quite like the success he had on Growing Pains. The Growing Pains was a huge success from 1985 to 1992. They would have upwards of 18 million weekly television viewers, so it got lots of publicity. The best known actor from Growing Pains was none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. In the last couple seasons, the oldest son, Mike Seaver, became a teacher, and one of his students was homeless, and that was Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So Leonardo DiCaprio got his start on Growing Pains and became the huge megastar that he is now.
Seaver? Mr. Seaver? Excuse me? I thought today's subject was gravity.
By all accounts, Alan Thicke sounded like a great father and just a genuine nice person. Now, Alan Thicke throughout his life loved playing hockey. He stated that he wasn't very good at hockey, however, he still loved to play it. Now, this is important because Alan Thicke and his youngest son, Carter, went to Burbank, an ice rink in Burbank. They were playing a pickup game of hockey. After a couple shifts in the hockey game, Alan Thicke fell to the ice. He was helped up onto the bench. He vomited. He had such a severe chest pain. He had vomited. He wasn't sure if it was something he ate. He just had a stomach bug. His son Carter asked somebody to call 911. This way he could be looked at because he knew something wasn't right. Alan Thicke did not want his son to call 911, but his son knew something wasn't right. So he started feeling better when he was on the bench. He was cracking jokes with people. When the ambulance came, they took him out on a gurney. Alan Thicke was cracking jokes with his son, asking his son to take a picture of him while he's sitting there on the gurney. And then before the doors closed, he gave a thumbs up. On the way to the hospital in Burbank, which was St. Joseph's Hospital, he started feeling more and more chest pains. The ambulance took a EKG, and there was no signs of a heart attack. When Alan Thicke arrived at the hospital, the cardiac team was waiting for him. They gave him a CAT scan. He had an aortic dissection, which in the heart, the aorta is like the main valve that is pushing blood back into the body once it has the fresh oxygen. So it's pushing that the blood back into the body. Now there's 3 layers to that. What had happened, they said, is when he fell to the ice while he was ice skating, probably 1 or 2 of those layers had ruptured. So blood was filling his chest instead of going to his body. By the time the cardiac team opened up his chest, it was just full of blood. They worked on him for 2 hours on the operating table, and sadly, Alan passed away at the age of 69. Now, an interesting fact is St. Joseph's Hospital, which is across the street from the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, is the same hospital that 10 years prior, in 2003, John Ritter of Three's Company, Problem Child movies, and 8 Simple Rules, which he was on season 2 of, passed away as well. Now, he died of aortic dissection as well, like Alan. However, was misdiagnosed as having a heart attack. So doctors, when you have a heart attack, will give you something to thin the blood. However, that made that worse since he was already bleeding into his chest. All that blood, instead of coagulating, was just going back into his chest. So like I said, I'm in Carpinteria. Just behind this tree line here is Alan Thicke's final home, which he lived in with his third wife, Tanya, who was a former model. They married in 2005 up until his death. So this is where Tanya still lives, by all accounts. It was left to her after Alan's passing. Now, Tanya and Alan did have a prenuptial agreement prior to them being married. There was a little bit of a disagreement between Alan's 3 sons and his third wife, Tanya, which they ended up going to court for. When Alan died, he was worth upwards of $40 million. He had a $500,000 life insurance policy and this home here in Carpinteria.
It was a moving memorial Sunday for the late Alan Thicke at his home in Carpinteria, California. About 150 close family and friends gathered under a white tent as Thicke's son, blurred line singer Robin Thicke, kept things light as he addressed his dad's widow, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. You look like Jackie O right now.
A special eulogy came from his Growing Pains cast. There is Tracy Gold, Kirk Cameron, and Leonardo DiCaprio. He's front and center wearing the cap.
So this, behind these trees, is Alan Thicke's final home that he owned with his third wife, Tanya. So Tanya, by all accounts, does still live here. She's allowed to live here per the prenup as long as she keeps the house in good order, good standing, well taken care of. There's reports that in the court case that Tanya's lawyer said that Alan's 3 sons wanted to turn this ranch into a marijuana farm. Not sure how true that is. It sounds like it got pretty ugly. However, it's by the reports that I've read, Tanya received 40% of the estate, while each son got 20%. I mean, just a beautiful piece of property. It looks like the front here is all owned, was all part of the property, and then there is this driveway that goes down. I'm not going to show you the address, but there is a driveway that leads down here. It looks like to the right here where the horses are is somebody else's piece of property, but so Alan Thicke would have driven down that road and then gone back to the house that is behind these trees. So kind of up against the mountains here. Now there is a road that goes down here and then back around, but it starts going down and then kind of winds back around. So I don't believe anybody lives behind here, but it looks like that is just where there's a car coming up on me, but it looks like that's where it is. But it looks like it's a nice private area. Now this is my second time being here. I was here a little while ago and I recorded a video for Alan Thicke. However, for some reason my mic was not on, so there's no sound. So I thought about leaving it because I am as seen by Dave, not as heard by Dave. That just didn't sit right with me. I had to come back here, visit his home again, and re-record a video, this time with audio. I'm at Santa Barbara Cemetery. Just beyond these trees here is the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So Alan Thicke, here is his gravestone, his headstone. Alan Willis Thicke. Proud Canadian, obviously you can tell with the maple leaf, the red maple leaf there. March 1st, 1947 to December 13th, 2016. Adored by his wife, loved by his sons, family, and friends. Forever missed. So today is March 3rd, so he would have been 78 years old Wow, it's already been 8 years since he's passed away. So rest in peace, Alan Thicke. So, I showed you Alan Thicke's house. I showed you his grave. Told you a little bit about him. Just a little bit. Until next time, remember, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, As Seen by Dave. And I also have an Instagram, As Seen by Dave. So make sure you go on the Instagram, follow me. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment. I try to comment back as much as I can. If they're positive, negative, whatever, just let me know what you thought, and hopefully you follow along and return. Thanks so much, everyone. As Seen by Dave, out.